So without further ado, we'd like to bring out the director, Christine Swanson. And we have a tradition at Ebertfest. We give a golden thumb, and I'd like to call out Festival Director Nate Cohen to present it to you.
Thank you, Nate.
And no, let her hold it for just, it's heavy, but if you can hold it for just a second, because I'd like to bring out the producer of Albany Road, your husband, Michael Swanson. He's an Emmy Award winner. He's a movie producer, visionary entrepreneur, president and CEO of the celebrated production company, Faith Filmworks. Throughout his distinguished 27-year career in entertainment, Michael has produced numerous award-winning movies and has worked on hit television shows and Broadway productions. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Film, Television, and Theater from the University of Notre Dame, served on the board of directors for Wedgwood Circle, and is a member of their Performing Arts Advisory Council. Michael Swanson, here he is, yes, yay. And Lee Meltzer, will you please do the honors of presenting the Golden Thumb to Michael Swanson?
Thank you, thank you.
We actually have 2 more Golden Thumbs to present, but I just have to say one thing. You know, I talked about family. I introduced the Buffini family. This is another family that I actually love. I love watching everything you guys do, both separately and together. I love how I see all of these things about you and your children and the lives you lead. I know what you do as you go through different communities. I'm really, really happy to have you on the Ebertfest stage together. And next, we're going to present a thumb to someone whom I've admired for so long. Lynn Whitfield is an Emmy Award winner, a Golden Globe nominee for Best Actress in a Movie or Miniseries for her portrayal of Josephine Baker's in the Josephine Baker Story. She's a 4-time NAACP Award winner and Gracie Award winner for her role as Lady May in OWN's family drama series, Greenleaf. I'm sorry, page. She can be seen starring in the Hulu original film, Vacation Friends. She was recently seen in the hit Netflix, Napoli Ever After, and her previous film credits are the award-winning Eve's Bayou, which, as you know, was one of Roger's really absolute favorites, and we showed it here, and A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. So much more. I mean, just when, you've seen her on the screen. She's been around, so admired. I'm so happy. Please help me welcome Ms. Lynn Whitfield.
Where do I go? Really? Oh.
And I never step on anyone's applause, so I just waited before bringing the Golden Thumb that's being presented by our festival director. It's a little heavy. And the last Golden Thumb we're presenting tonight is from someone who's kind of a hometown boy, and he's been here at Ebertfest for so long, but he's gone out and he's done things. They're doing everything. They were with Shatterglass. They've had studios here, and they're building one elsewhere. Every time I turn around, we want to use him for something, but he's too darn busy because he got out there and people discovered how good he is, and he's always working. Help me welcome Brett Hayes. And Brett, you've helped us give Golden Thumbs so many years. We're very happy to be giving you your own tonight. Before we take your thumbs away, I know they're heavy. If you can hold them for just another second, because you're all glamour personified, I want you to stand here while I welcome back to the stage Nell Minow and Carla Renata. How would you like them seated?
Christine and Michael, and, okay, well, let me move over here. Jazz is doing it, y'all, come on.
And then will you have someone help us take the thumbs, please? No. Wait. Yes, madame. Thank you. Oh, microphone?
Thank you very much. One more round of applause for this amazing movie.
Hey everybody, so glad that you were able to come and see Albany Road and stay for the Q&A, and I'm gonna kick it off. I have a little tissue in my hand because I was a little verklempt, and this is the second time I've seen it, so I just wanna thank Christine and Michael and Lynn for gracing us with such beautiful work. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. Christine, during the beginning, right before the film started, you talked about how you guys mortgaged your house to make the film, or got a loan on the house to make the film. And in the film, you say several times, don't live your life in fear. Do you think that you lived your own motto in making Albany Road?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so the montage where you go through everyone's lives after everything kind of blows up in the house, why did you choose to do that montage in lieu of dialogue for scenes?
Well, mainly because I'm a filmmaker, and we show, don't tell. And when you have great and beautiful actors like I did, there's a lot that can be shown through a look, through a breath, through a pause. And they kept me on my toes every time that we could capture moments that just spoke to their vulnerability and humanity. So I love playing with montages. I don't get to do that a lot when I direct television, but when you can direct your own movie and speak your heart through the storytelling, through the visual storytelling, and through talented actors, that's what we live for.
I have to begin by asking about shooting here in Champaign. For those of us who are not local, tell us about some of the settings that are local and how you made it look like the East Coast.
Brett, you take that one.
Well, the airport, number one, which we were so gracious to the airport and everything they did. Allerton Park, which was all the roads. The cabin, you saw the dairy barn. I mean, nearly everything other than the
apartment.
office and
Yeah.
the apartment. Everything was shot in Champaign County area.
And can you tell us, Christine, tell us the three things that you said were the three reasons to shoot here?
Remind me now. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Did it have something to do with snow?
Yeah, that was one
Snow.
of them, right? Great crew.
Tax credits? Did I say that?
And the crew. And, you said-
And the crew.
yeah.
That's right. So we got 2 out of the 3. So Brett promised me we'd have snow. Oh, it snows every February in Champaign. Don't worry, because we were going to shoot the snow practically because it was cheaper. So we thought. So the 23 days we shot in Champaign, I think it's kind of snowed one day. And that was before we started shooting. And some of that we captured, but the movie needed a little bit of help, and we're going to deal with that to make it look better, but we had to add snow. We had to add snow.
The next time somebody says they want to film snow, I'm hanging up.
He promised it. But we got a great crew base, great crew, such artists, not just laborers, but patient with the craft and the art, and they allowed us the space to be creative. And we were able to do something that, honestly, with our budget and the time and everything, I have a lot of gratitude for the people of Champaign and the crew who helped make this happen. I'd say it's a dream, but I'm not. I have a degree in this, so it's not a dream. You know, if you have a degree, it's called a job. But in many ways, the way it came together was very dreamlike, and much gratitude to everybody who helped work on this.
Many of our crew members are here today. This is their first time seeing the finished film, so if you would allow me, I would just like for our crew, any crew who've come to see the screening, please stand up. We want to recognize you and thank you. Stand up, wave your hand. There are a lot in the balcony. Hey, y'all. Thanks for being here. Thank you for your help. Thank you for your artistry. We also have some of the department heads. We have our composer, Leon Lacey, here. Thank you for flying in from Los Angeles to be with us today. Any of our additional actors, any actors here want to recognize you? Oh, stand up. Thank you for being here.
And the notary. And the notary.
And the notary, yes.
And Sarah Sharp, our producer, is out here as well. She lives in Champaign, and
There she is up there.
she handcrafted that dead deer out of dead deer body parts. I don't know if that's something that you guys do in Illinois, but she somehow knew, and there you have it.
I want to talk, I'm glad you brought up the score, Michael, and the music. I want to talk about the choices for the music. I heard a lot of Aretha Franklin going on, and the This Is Why I Love You. I love that song so much. I want to know why you chose the songs that you did and what inspired that.
Aretha Franklin was wrote into the soundtrack when I wrote the script 20 years ago. So we were going to try to see if we can get the music. I had to mortgage another house to get the Aretha Franklin music, but it's in there, and it's an homage to her. I'm from Detroit, and Aretha is a soundtrack to my life. And
All of our lives.
And I want to incorporate her in our storytelling, one, as an homage, but two, I've heard Aretha Franklin songs in a lot of movies about people who don't look like me. And I thought, well, I'd like to do that. So I just wrote it in to this script, and when we got around to doing it, we licensed the music, and here we are.
Thank you, Michael, for letting me share your mic. And I have to go one more time and just give you your homage, Christine, on being honored for the Clark sisters, the first ladies of gospel, because it was awesome. If you guys have not seen that, please make your way to a television set and check it out. It is awesome. Which brings me to this question. You have an uncanny knack, just like Malcolm D. Lee, who we spoke to last night with The Best Man. You guys have an uncanny knack of tapping into talent that is unknown to most people but known to us. What is it that draws you to that type of talent, like a Renee Elise Goldsberry? People only know her from Hamilton and musicals. They don't know her from, you know, doing straight acting things. They don't know Gary Dourdan. They don't know Jay Alphonse, who is on P-Valley. So could you just speak to that for a second?
Well, I cast Renee in my first feature film 23 years ago. It's called All About You. It's on Amazon Prime. When you look at it, hopefully you'll see what I saw. I thought she was a superstar before she was a superstar. So it's not hard for me to see that. What was interesting is when we actually did the movie, I actually lost the lead to Paula, and somehow Lynn Whitfield came into the conversation, and I was like, we can't get Lynn Whitfield. We can't afford Lynn Whitfield. And in many ways, I just kept it out of my mind. I'm like, who's next? And long story short, God bless Lynn. She actually read the script. She ain't get paid no money, you know. She's gonna say she did it for the art. So, how blessed are we that artists exist who do this for the love of the craft? I've never had budgets yet. Actually, I do. I work on big budgets on the TV side, but on the indie side, not as much. But our job is to make not so much look a little bit more. Having a Lynn Whitfield, like, makes it a lot more. And then in terms of what she contributes to the storytelling, she just made all of us better. So my job is to be open to the gifts, and every now and then, someone shows up. And there she is. My job was just to obey.
I just have to say, I'm glad that you brought up Miss Lynn Whitfield. Miss Lynn Whitfield and I have something and someone in common. We both are graduates of Howard University, and we both were taught by the incomparable Miss Vera J. Katz. And so having said that, I also know that like Christine and Michael, you have worked with another filmmaker, Tyler Perry, and I thought it was very crazy that you and Lisa Arundel were in a scene together. Christine's like, where's she going with this? I promise I got a point. You and Lisa Arundel play cousin, you're her aunt, yeah? Huh? You're her aunt in this film. She plays Carol.
In this film?
In this film.
I think we're on the niece.
Put your mic up.
Yes.
Cousins. So y'all are cousins in this film, but in Medea's Family Reunion, you were her mom.
Yes.
So what was it like to reunite with her?
Time rolls on, darling.
But what was it like to reunite with her on this film and have a completely different relationship on screen?
It was lovely. I mean, it's always great to be familiar with your acting partners, you know, to be comfortable, to play together, you know, to storytell together. And it makes a good environment to, you know, take chances, to be in the intimate scenes where she's confessing that she has little time and all that. If you already like somebody and kind of love somebody in a familial way, it makes it much easier to create the intimacy and the truth.
Thank you for that.
I think that the mirror scene in this film is one of the most extraordinary moments of any movie I've ever seen. And I wanted to talk to you about the way you were able to convey so many different feelings and thoughts as you looked into the mirror, and how you and Christine talked about what that moment was going to mean in the movie.
Well, it's so beautiful when you work with artists, and within 5 days we had developed shorthands for what we have to say, because you know I've done many roles. This is one example. Many roles where I'm, you know, more proper and sort of, and she would continue to remind me that this was a flat-footed, simple woman. We had a code for it. I forgot what it was, Now, what, do you remember? It'll come. Yeah, but, so she would keep me straight.
Folksy.
Folksy. Said, don't forget she's folksy. I'm like, oh, yes, that's right. In terms of the mirror scene, I kind of had something that kept coming to me in my spirit, because one thing that Christine promised me that we wouldn't do is make it a therapy movie, because I happen to be deeply afraid of my own mortality. And I didn't want to just play into that. And so I had this idea that she would find love for herself, and she would, there would be humor in it. So there was a gag. So when we were about to shoot the mirror scene, originally it was just she makes the reveal, and then Lisa barges into the room. And I said, I want to try something. She said, go for it. And literally, Christine and Michael, because Michael was there as well, just let the camera continue to roll. And I just had an improvisation of looking at your own mortality and to find places that real humans must go. I know somebody has picked up a brush forgetting that they don't have hair before. I know they have. I know that, you know, I believe that when you are facing your own mortality, you still see in your spirit the person, the woman, the girl that you were. You know, so I just wanted to explore that idea, and we trusted each other. And actually, I didn't think I had anything else in me, and she said, keep going. And so she just kept it rolling. I said, all right. But it's great because Christine allowed actors to behave. There was no dialogue there. And so many times in this film, you asked her why she had the montage where there was because behavior, really the things that people don't say are sometimes where you find their truth. As opposed to, you know, because, you know, we can spew a whole lot of things that steer people away from what we're really feeling. And so that speaks to their artistry, to Christine, and as a producer, you know, to allowing actors to explore behavior. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
For that mirror scene, we actually had a body double for Len, and I want Valencia, I'm sorry to embarrass you, to stand up, who is a breast cancer survivor, who had a double mastectomy and allowed us to use her body as Len's double. Flew in from Miami for that one day, that one scene to shoot it, and we want to thank you, Valencia, for doing that, which is quite brave and generous. Thank you so much.
We're going to open it up to the audience in just a minute, but we got time, Carla, for you to ask another question.
I'm glad you said that, Nell. Thank you. So grief is an all-encompassing emotion, right? And I know each one of us on this panel has encountered it in one way or another. But now, after coming out on the other side of Albany Road, how do you think your vantage point and viewpoint of grief is right now?
Well, if we live long enough, we are going to be on either side of that bed. Some of us have already experienced it, losing loved ones. Most of us will experience it in some shape or form. For me, having lost a lot of close people, every time I see that scene, even while we were shooting it, I kind of looked at it as a sacred space for us to honor our ancestors in a way that we don't get the space to do. Most times when you look at Black images on screen, we're dealing with Black trauma porn. And we're often seen sharing our trauma with the world in a way that doesn't allow processing. So for me, it was really important to allow, particularly Kyle, a black man to experience a moment of profound grief and giving him the space to breathe it out. And I know as a director, as an editor, I could cut that scene shorter and we get the point. I felt it necessary for our ancestors to be given that space so we can honor them in ways that are not too frequent in the media space. So that was what that moment was for, and it breaks me every time I see it. And it's just kind of like a moment of silence for the people that we had to say goodbye to. So.
Do we have a question from the audience? Oh, I'm sorry.
I just want to quickly comment on the grief question. So my mom passed away from breast cancer at the young age of 57 back in 1999. And ironically, Christine's dad passed away at the same age of 57, a few years before my mom passed. So I think Christine and I understand that tomorrow is not promised to any of us and how important it is to live each day to its fullest. And grief comes and goes at different times. And even, this story is loosely based on my mom's battle with cancer. And so when I see Paula in the hospital room and how Lynn plays it so brilliantly, sometimes I just sit in the back and bawl, although I've seen this scene hundreds of times. And I think of my mother. So like Christine says, it's a way to really take a moment and be in that sacred space and remember how precious life is, and to, most importantly, tell your loved ones how much you love them. Because, life is fleeting and tomorrow's not promised. So I think everything we do is very purposeful, and we just want to remind people through this gift that Christine has created to not take things for granted.
And I try to do the comedy with a twist. So we don't want to talk about it and tell people what the twist is, because the experience of it is very personal and it's yours. And that's what I tried to do by bending the genre a little bit. So it's kind of like a romantic dramedy, but there's some hardcore dramatic moments, and that was intentional. So keep the secret.
Do we have a question in the audience? I can see the microphones out there. You must have found somebody. All right, while we wait for that, I've got a question. I know somebody in the audience wants to ask this. What are the best things about working with your spouse? I won't ask you any of the bad things, but what are the best things?
Well, that we both owned a house together that, no, we've been working together since we were in college together at Notre Dame. I don't know anything different. So I know it may seem odd to people who don't work with their spouses. It's odd, or it was painful not to work with him when he had to get a real job once we had 4 kids. And I was a stay-at-home mom, so that was one of the hardest times in my life, watching him go to work, and I'm home stuck with the kids. But that being said, we always work together, so that's very normal, and it's great. He's organized. He's well-spoken. I may not be all the time. He's a producer extraordinaire, so me being a creative, it's a very nice blend, and it's worked out.
I think we do work well together. I mean, we've been married to be 30 years in a couple of months, so we kind of grew up together, went to our prom, so we know each other so well. And this was long before we knew we would have a career or careers in filmmaking or the entertainment industry in general. And so I think some of the benefits include, at least for me, is I can look across a set and read Christine and know exactly what she's thinking or what she needs or what she wants, or if there's disappointment or frustration. And as a first and foremost, I'm her husband. Second, I'm a producer. But as a husband, it's my job to be her protector and to give her the tools she needs to create this beautiful art that she's been creating throughout her career, 27 years. And so I like to kind of be there for her and block for her and help give her the money from our house to let her and let her create beautiful art that we can give and gift to the audience. I mean, I do think these movies are going to outlive all of us, and well, they will. And so this is our contribution, and we want to tell stories that will move people, that will connect with their hearts, that will make you smile and maybe cry sometimes, but hopefully you'll leave the theater and this experience with a little bit more joy. And so that is what God has blessed us to do, is sharing this gift that he's given us. And so I will continue to be by her side to do that until she decides to do something else.
Is that a beautiful thing? And it's real. To see it on the set was incredible. And their children there being very helpful. You know, some standing in when actors weren't there and doing that, helping their mom and dad, whatever needed to happen. Another son helping us do our lines at 6 a.m. in the morning when we have things. It is really a family affair, and it's true. It's not for show kind of thing. This is a real deal, and I was so inspired. I felt so blessed to be in that kind of environment creating. It's so beautiful working with them.
I should add, because it was fully financed by us, we had no input from Hollywood. We had no input from studio execs. My husband is a studio exec, so I'm not disparaging them, but this is kind of what can happen when you leave artists to do what they do. It was the most freeing creative experience I've had in years. And you know, I have a lot of credits where I work on a lot of studio type stuff, but I just think there's a lot of places that we can go in terms of storytelling, period, but also in storytelling in terms of how Black people are portrayed. So I'm really inspired to do that. I just want to add that not all Black movies end with people dancing in weddings. I wrote this 20 years ago. When I was a freshman at NYU Film School, Malcolm was in his third year, so we were classmates. So we are very individual people just Black people dance at weddings, and there's that. There's no copy.
All people dance at weddings.
They don't always put it in movies at the end of the credits.
Yes. But why are you clowning the electric slide, though?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I created our own dance. So thanks to my music producer, Leon Lacey, I was like, let's make up our own song so we can be original, and that's what we did.
I love that. We're gonna go out in the audience one more time and see if we have any questions. Any questions, anyone?
On your left.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for the beautiful film. Ms. Whitfield, you are mesmerizing. Whenever you were on screen, I couldn't take my eyes off you. And Ms. Swanson, I'm not a very sophisticated film watcher, but the camera shots, it was just a gorgeous film. But I did have one question. It was called Albany Road, and I think that was Paula's address, and she never really gets there. But you can tell me if this idea is crazy, but I thought in a way Paula did get home emotionally and spiritually because the love for her son she saw come to a really great resolution. Yes. So did you do that purposefully, or?
Sure.
She's like, if you say so, that's what it is.
Well, I think that's a great note to end on, unless we have one more question. Do we have one more? Yes, we have one more.
Right there.
I have a question off to your right, please.
Okay.
I'm suddenly nervous about this question, given a previous answer you've just given from the stage, but throughout all of cinema, its entire history, the entirety of it, Black people have been marginalized, they've been minimalized and stereotyped. And then I saw you bring out this Quaker couple, and I thought, here we go.
Amish,
sorry. A little bit of turnabout, but it ends up being a pivotal moment, a surprising moment, a turning point in the film when they sing, and I just wanted to hear more about that.
Well, that was my attempt at diversity. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. And I thought, well, they're in Pennsylvania. Let's throw some Amish kids in there. I wanted to play around with the song and the recall. And what are the odds that the Amish kids know their song? So that was me just playing with that device. And again, it is really an injection of diversity. But can I just say, this is the first time I've screened this film, because we've done like multiple screenings across the country, just as rough cut screenings to get feedback, like market type screenings. This is the first mostly all white audience. And I was kind of nervous because I know I desire to make stories about us because I think of my relatives. And I'm like, man, if I can make a movie to make them laugh, then I've done my life's work. But the beauty of this, and watching this with you, and then Marcy, who was so awesome in helping me, it's really a testament to our humanity together as a people who endeavor to love each other in spite of our differences. And what people are going to tell us is, oh, this is a black movie, it doesn't market abroad. Well, my friends in Europe have screened this already and told me this would work in Europe because it's a universal story, you know? And you have shown me that and validated that. And not that I sought it out or not that I needed it, but the fact that we're screening at Ebertfest in Champaign, Illinois, you guys show up and you understand it. I think you're celebrating it. I think you get it, and I think you can relate to the humanity in all of us. That actually just gives me hope as a storyteller to keep doing this so that we can build bridges of love and commonality and togetherness. Because I think that's what we need more and more as it is getting increasingly hard to live in this world today. So thank you so much for your graciousness in allowing yourself to jump into this story and see Paula and to see Celeste and in some way see yourselves also in these people who don't look like you, but that you can relate to, because humanity is colorless. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I think we have time for one more question over on the left. Yes, no, maybe? Mic's not on.
Oh, hello. I hate to kill the mood with, that was a beautiful answer, by the way. I just really want to ask about shooting at Willard Airport, because Willard Airport is not a very large airport. And so what kinds of planning or tricks did you do to try to make it stand in for a much larger, unnamed New York City airport?
Well, Brett and I were talking about that, and like I said, I screened it, and we screened it in 14 different cities across the country. Nobody not once said, hey, that's not an airport in New York City. It looks like LaGuardia, right? And Brett, we were saying, it's just you shoot these angles, then it's an airport, right? It just worked. We were blessed. I'm telling you, champagne is the gift that keeps on giving.
Thank you all very, very much. One more round of applause for this amazing movie.
How gracious. Thank you so much.